the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being virtually utilizing Zoom within the cloud-based platform of the audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Monday, May 12th, 2025 meeting of the East Lampeter Township Board of Supervisors. Call this meeting to order. I'm joined in the room by Mr. Corey Meyer, Vice Chair Mike Thornton, and Roger Rutt. Mr. Ted Gallagher is absent this evening. We have agendas in the back of the room and sign-in sheets for everybody. If you will rise and join me in a pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first item on our agenda this morning is public comment for any non-agenda item. If there's any public comment.
Lafayette Fire Company. Hatfield, the president of Lafayette Fire Company. And we would like to do a little presentation. I understand there's a special occasion. Yes. Come up, please. We want to recognize you for your service to the township, for your service with Lafayette, and for leaving the township better than you found it.
So what it says, board is to Ralph Hutchinson on behalf of the officers and members of the Lafayette Fire Company. We'd like to express our sincere thank you for your dedicated service to the community as the township manager of East Lampeter Township.
Thank you very much. That is a beautiful piece. I'm surprised again, but
Somebody wants to take a picture of one of the screens.
Sarah, you want to get in?
yeah.
Come on. I'm not the one retired. Go ahead, get in there. Got it.
So, appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief, President. Thanks for coming out. Thanks to all of our volunteer firefighters for taking your time to come out this evening. We appreciate it. All right, any other public comment for any non-agenda items?
We do have a drill this evening, so we're going to gracefully.
Okay, well, thanks for coming. Thank you for training and keeping us all safe. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our consent agenda. We've got our consent agenda, items A through J. I'll read through these. They're very exciting. With item A, approval of the May 12th, 2025 Board of Supervisors meeting agenda. We have approval of the minutes of the Monday, April 21st, 2025 regular meeting. We have a time extension for review and action, Texas Roadhouse 2024-18, 2317 Lincoln Highway East. The applicant is offering an additional 90 days to August 14th, 2025 for township renew and action on this plan. We have item D, time extension to record conditionally approved plan Rockvale Parcel 2, 2023-32 at 25 South Willowdale Drive. The applicant is requesting extension through September 17th, 2025 to satisfy all conditions of approval and record this plan. We have item E, time extension to record conditionally approved plan Elmer Petersheim, 2024-12, 702 Hartman Station Road. The applicant is requesting an additional 60 days to July 14th, 2025 to satisfy all conditions of approval and record this plan. This is the first time extension. We have item F, time extension to record conditionally approved plan sheets 2024-13 at 2100 Lincoln Highway East. The applicant is requesting an additional 30 days to June 11th, 2025 to satisfy all conditions of approval. They've got some delays with PennDOT. We have item G, time extension to record conditionally approved plan Omar Fisher, 2024-19 at 2008 Horseshoe Road. The applicant is requesting additional 60 days to July 14th, 2025 to satisfy all conditions of approval and record the plan. This is the first time extension. We have item H, time extension for township review and action Rockvale Parcel 5, 2024-22 at 35 South Willowdale Drive. The applicant continues to work to address review comments provided by the township engineer. This is the second time extension for this plan. The applicant is offering extension to August 19th, 2025 for township review and action. We have item I, reinstatement and time extension to record conditionally approved plan Dutch Wonderland 23-20, 2249 Lincoln Highway East. So it's been a while since they did, so we had a conditional approval of this plan. So we're reapproving it subject to the same conditions and the requested time extension of 90 days to be approved. We have item J, approval to pay invoices from all funds totaling $452,663.24. We've got some significant items of note, $44,145 to New Holland Auto Group for a new police vehicle, a Durango. We have $40,719 to Susquehanna Municipal Trust for quarterly workers' compensation contribution, $13,199.76 to PPL for relocation costs related to the Willow Road Culvert Project. That, gentlemen, is our consent agenda. Is there a motion? Make a motion to approve the consent. We have a motion by Mr. Myers, and a second. Second. Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Rudd. Is there any board discussion or public comment? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstention? The motion passes. We have item number 5, the township manager swearing in. So we're going to start with a motion to appoint Tara Fiction to our township. We make a motion to appoint Tara Fiction as township manager of East Lamphere Township. Second. A motion by Mr. Meyer and a second by Mr. Thornton. Is there any board discussion or public comment? Here, John, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstention? The ayes have it. And we'll do our swearing. And once you're in, now we are allowed to swear at you. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Tara Hitchens, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of Township Manager in East Lamphere Township, Lancaster County, with fidelity.
I, Tara Hitchens, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of Township Manager in East Lamphere Township, Lancaster County, with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Eric.
Here you have, I think some family members, anything you want to introduce in the room?
My youngest daughter Abigail and my oldest daughter Maggie.
Thank you all.
Very
Thanks. Thanks for making the trip up here.
We enjoy the sports.
Just want to make a comment. I appreciate the family of township managers. It's sometimes the hours can be long and challenging and you'll get the emergency calls. So we appreciate the amount of work that you do to support Tara as she's in this role and your sacrifice as well. It truly takes a family and a support system to be successful. And we've heard nothing but good things about her support team. So thank you for coming. Also, just a thank you to our staff and previous boards. Our manager transition has been something we've discussed on and off for 6 years. 6 years. So to previous board members as well, this has been an ongoing discussion. And then we've been working our goal is to make sure the succession goes very smoothly. We're very confident in the team that we put together. I know Ralph and Tara have been working in this as well, along with their regular jobs to put together this transition, and very proud of the work you've done, and thank you for everything you've done behind the scenes to make this very successful, and look forward to this next chapter.
Why?
Yes. Sarah, when did you start? What was your first year?
2013, March 13th.
Congrats. Awesome to see you in the great that Hutch is retiring also, which I won't keep going.
All right. So the next item on our agenda is appointment of senior advisor to the township manager of Ralph Hutchinson. So is there a motion to appoint Ralph to this new role?
We make a motion to appoint Ralph Hutchinson to senior advisor to the township manager.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion by Mr. Meyer, a second by Mr. Rutt. Any public comment or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? The motion carries. So thank you, Ralph. We'll have probably plenty more opportunities
To surprise you.
to surprise you and say nice things, but say for the board, we appreciate your many years of service. You recently got an award at PSATs as well. You'll probably get a few more plaques before you actually leave. But thank you for your service and thank you for helping with the handoff and the transition and also being around once we transition to answer the questions that'll come up of where's the key to that cabin? And many, many other questions similar to that. So thank you, Ralph.
Well, the other thing is this is an official senior advisor position, but you've been a senior advisor to a lot of people over the years. And they've come to you, as you come into this role, and then you find out about that, how other townships and people have come to you for so many things. So we'll have lots of other things to say over the time period.
All right. Moving on to old business, we have 7A, a comprehensive plan update and an update from Roger on that process, who sits on our steering committee for this project.
Yeah, we're into our third, we've already had 3 meetings with Dean and moving very well. I think selecting HRG as our primary source was very helpful because they really didn't have to educate themselves to what this township is and the challenges that we have. One of the challenges for the committee currently is to make sure that we are able to gather input from some significant residents in our township. Ones that may not be tech savvy to fill out forms on a website, things like that. So that's one of the challenges we're working through. Dean has come up with a very good program. So we're working on a preference type questionnaire that they can actually look at some pictures and see what their preference would be for certain areas of the township. So if any of you have any suggestions on making sure that we get good input and encourage people to come to the public meetings that we have, our group would appreciate that very much.
Our next meeting is this Friday, and so we hope to wrap up what that survey looks like. As Roger indicated, it's a visual preference survey, but putting those visual preferences on a map for the township. So taking that kind of survey one step further.
It's gonna be similar to like the 2040 plan where it was like A, B, C, D, order, pictures and.
It's a little more like the Bridgeport plan.
Yes,
Do you
yeah,
remember those
Yeah.
surveys?
yeah.
So here's what it could look like
Yeah.
and where you want that to happen in the
Yeah.
township.
Yeah. Good.
The intent is to put a QR code in all kindergarten registration packets at Fritz and Smoketown.
Excellent. Getting the word out is going to be the key.
It'll also be on our website, on Facebook, all of those as well.
Any other questions for Roger or staff? We'll move on to item 8A. We have a resolution for a DEP sewer planning module, 2156 Shereen Road in-law quarters. Want to give us an update?
So you recall this was a subdivision from the church property, and the new owner is looking to install an in-law quarters. Every additional EDU now has to go through the sewer planning module process, and that's where we're at.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the sewer planning module as presented?
Motion to adopt a resolution for DEP sewer planning module 2156 Sharon Road, the in-law quarters.
Motion by Mr. Thornton, second by Mr. Rutt. Is there any board discussion or public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to item 9, supervisor discussion items, 9A, Park Foundation information.
A few months ago, the board brought up the idea of a park foundation, and Lisa Cleveland, our recreation director, did a good bit of research on the options that are out there for us in order to form that type of foundation. One is to go through the same process that we went through in forming the police foundation, which takes time. You have to go through the 501c3 process. There's some legal parameters that you need to meet. Then you need to appoint the board that then oversees that foundation. In this particular case, there's another option, and that is through the People Parks Community Foundation, which is a foundation under the Pennsylvania Pennsylvania Recreation and Park Society, PRPS. And that serves as an umbrella foundation so that all of the municipalities in the Commonwealth could go under there. It looks just like East Lampeter Park Foundation. It acts like East Lampeter Park Foundation. However, they've done a lot of the legwork in getting the 501c3 up and running. They handle all of the funds, they handle all of the reporting, and we have access to all of the funds that are donated in the East Lampeter Township name.
Are any local municipalities part of the PPCF?
Not that I'm aware of.
Is there, I haven't done a lot of digging. How recent have they launched this program?
Yeah, it actually just obtained its first leader with the retirement of the PRPS person into the foundation role. And that literally happened 2 or 3 weeks ago.
So we might be one of the first municipalities within that.
Absolutely could be one of the first municipalities.
Risk reward there, right? Get a lot of attention if we're one of the few in there. We could be a trendsetter.
Yearly fee or there's the initial, I see initial and fee for. It's number 8.
I didn't remember seeing yearly fee and but we can definitely look into that further.
At first read of these, if, and I've done some work with nonprofits in the past, if you can jump under another one, absolutely do it. Like, not having to set up another small 501c3. If there's already one who's aligned with the mission of setting those up, that's a quicker and easier and just, then you always have the option if you want more. If you want something that you can't get under that one, you can always spin out at a later date. So we're not precluding that option, but so much easier to hop under an umbrella than to go it alone.
I mean, we might not see all the benefits of it right away because it's so new, but in other organizations like this, tons of options, investment options, depends how large you are. Obviously, you have all these different accounts falling under their umbrella, but they, concept is the same as what we're looking for. I think it's great.
So, the fee that, Mike was referring to is under the standalone. But because the fee is there, it's also going to be under the other.
What, are you looking at the
That's
IRS?
really, we do a 501c3, yeah.
But probably, so they're only having to do that at their top level. You don't have to do it for each sub one.
That's correct. We did find out that that's not a necessary step. But we will look, I'm sorry, we will look more into whether or not there's a yearly fee.
Yeah, I would be open to working with the ERPS. I think with a little more information, costs, and are we the only ones? Are they talking to others? And yeah, I'd be definitely open to it.
They've got grants as well for one of the first ones. We might be
Yeah.
from all the one applicants. Yeah, and this is great. Thanks to Lisa for pulling this together. I think. Yeah, because really this also allows then all of our local businesses to take advantage of this and be able to donate and get a tax benefit for sponsoring cool stuff in our parks. So that might be another one to look at as she goes through these potential amendments to our Parks and Recreation ordinance to allow for sponsorship and
Signage.
yeah. But be able to give some recognition to those donors. Or to even individual events that we would hold. So if we've done movie in the parks, go yoga, we could have people sponsor those activities as well.
We wouldn't need a board.
We wouldn't necessarily need a board. There can be one, but it's.
Supervisors as an advisory board or. Yeah.
So we'll do a little more research and come back to you.
Appreciate it. Also be good not to have yet another board. Esports, that would be great. Okay. Any other discussion on the Park Foundation? Any other items the board wants to bring up for discussion? Now, if you think of anything, feel free to email Tara or I, or both of us, and we can add it to a future agenda. Next up, we have action items 10A, decision regarding liquor license transfer application, VS Old Philadelphia Pike LLC, 2453 Old Philadelphia Pike. We do have our solicitor, Susan Piper, here. If you want to give us just a quick background.
You know, you had a hearing on April 21st at a special meeting to consider this liquor license transfer. The hearing was concluded, and at the end of the hearing, you did announce you'd be rendering a decision this evening. Based on my follow-up discussions with each of you, or at least the three of you that participated in the hearing, I did draft a decision that contains a number of items of fact and conclusions of law. That is a decision that I drafted based on how I believe the board will decide the case tonight. It's certainly, you're free to reject it if you wish. You also have before you two resolutions. One approves the transfer, the other one denies the transfer. And then the decision has written a decision denying the application. So tonight we need to take two motions tonight, one to adopt a resolution, either approving or denying, and then the second one would be if you choose to deny the application, it would be a motion to adopt the decision as drafted.
Thank you. All right, is there a motion on one of the resolutions before us?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution to deny the transfer.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Rutt. Any board discussion or public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions?
Abstain.
There's one abstention. All right, next up, is there a motion to accept the decision?
Motion to accept the decision as drafted.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Rutt on the decision. Is there any public discussion or board discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll call a question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions?
Abstain.
We have one abstention. And it passes. Thank you. Next item, we have item 10B, appointed to ICC board. Kara Hickman's. It's a little background.
So the IIC is the Government Insurance Cooperative. East Lampeter Township was one of the founders of that cooperative, and therefore we have a seat on the board. So Hutch has served on that board since the cooperative was founded. He continued to do so through his tenure as township manager. He and I have both been attending those meetings over the last approximate year so that I can become familiar with that cooperative. And so this action could be taken now, or it can be taken at a time later. That's up the prerogative of the board.
Any prerogatives want to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the appointment to the IIC board, Tara Hitchens, township manager. Immediately.
Yeah. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Thornton. Any discussion or public comment? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Motion passes. Now you got another job. You'll get a few more. There's a few boards in this county. We have item 10C, amendment to a cooperation agreement with Said Road, Greenfield Road intersection improvement projects. Want to give us some background, Tara?
Right, so the board entered into an agreement with High Associates to move forward with the improvements at Hempstead and Greenfield. And that was due to the development within Greenfield. So these improvements as part of that agreement were to be completed by December of 2025. Given the time frame for materials to come in and be constructed, as well as the PennDOT process, that time frame cannot be met. And so we're asking the board to agree to this first amendment, which expands that time frame through December of 2026. And then we're also asking in that time frame that the board agree to there being a deposit of funds from High so that the contractor can be paid and then reimbursed from the CFA reimbursement process.
Okay. Any other questions for Tara? Entertain a motion.
I have a quick question. So this was, both solicitor and my solicitors.
Both have reviewed it. Yes.
I'll make a motion to adopt this amendment to cooperation between the township and High Properties, along with approving the deposit so the contractor can be paid until getting the reimbursement.
The township actually gets the reimbursement, and then we would in turn return the funds to High.
Followed by reimbursements to the township. We would refund Hines for their funds posited with us.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Rudd. Is there a second? Second. Motion by Mr. Rudd, second by Mr. Meyer. Any board discussion, public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to item D, approval of consulting services for proposed CFA grant processing for Hempstead Road Greenfield Improvement.
So Quantum Consulting Ventures is, there's a proposal before you to handle the CFA funds, which are part of that First Amendment that you just adopted, to assist the township in handling those funds and the reimbursements. This would be paid out of the CFA funds, so it's $1,500 for this proposal.
To approve the consulting service proposal of Quantum Consulting Ventures for a proposal for the CFA grant processing for Hempstead Greenfield Improvement Project.
Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Gordon. Any board discussion, public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Motion passes. 10E, authorize America 250 grant application for drone show.
Right, so unfortunately, there wasn't something we could hand out to you that printed easily, or that the application is all online, so we couldn't provide that to you either. So we do have the website up here for the grant application and the frequently asked questions that come from there. This is open to municipalities, and we are looking to, instead of having a fireworks show, have a drone show. And we would utilize the Hempstead Valley High School stadium to host the show in. So hoping that there would be, an outpouring of community support for this as we celebrate the 250th year. Now, the drone show in itself costs about $10,000 for 150 drones to fly to music and provide the light show that will be in place of the fireworks. And then we would look to have additional entertainment before that happens. Uncertain exactly with what or who yet, but we're working on those plans through Lisa Cleveland, the recreation director. And then we would look for sponsors or donations to meet the match. This is a matching program, so in total, it would be a $20,000 event.
Does anything about FAA requirements based on proximity to Smoketown and Lancaster Airport as well?
So they would have to go through the FAA process of approval to have the show.
And you have a preliminary contact with the school district.
We do. We've already contacted them. We have been talking through this event.
And it would be the first maybe of anyone coming to us for celebrations. I envision there'll be fireworks that are going to be a little different, maybe, for the 250th. But in general, this could be our anchor sort of celebration, right? This
That's
would be-
correct.
The school is in the airport, like.
It is.
And I think it's probably the outer run of Lancaster Airport, right?
So I believe it's in the conical zone for us, and it's in whatever the zone is next. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. The next.
Required communication zone for Lancaster Airport, and
Yeah.
Smoketown doesn't have a tower, so there's no conflict.
Yeah, it's just.
So they would still have to file a flight plan.
Sure. Yeah. It's just pretty close.
Unless it's drone operators. So they can.
Yeah. Understood. Great. I think my dogs will appreciate no fireworks.
Sure, someone will. Hopefully not at the drones. Is there a motion for this grant?
Motion to authorize American 250 grant application for the drone show for summer 2026.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Thornton, second by Mr. Rutt. Any board discussion, public comment? Hearing none, all of those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Motion passes. Item 10F, approval of easement documents for the Lincoln Highway Streetscape Project.
So this is the first of many that you'll see for this project as we move forward with phase 3. And these are both temporary construction easements and some permanent pedestrian easements for the 12-foot pathway that's shared use, bike and pedestrian on the south side of Lincoln Highway, for the movement of curbing, for the 6-foot sidewalk on the south side of Lincoln Highway, and some movement of utility poles. This is the project that you see in pink, salmon color. It looks pink to me over here. So from approximately Cartoon Network to Bowman Road area. So these are owners that have already signed the easement agreements. And this would be to move forward with those documents.
A motion to approve the easement documents for the Lincoln Highway Streetscape Project for 2302, 2323, 2353, and 2425.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Thornton, second by Mr. Rutt. Any more discussion, public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Motion passes. Item 10G, authorize Lafayette Municipal Fire Companies to participate in 3 separate live music events in Greenfield for fire or emergency situations, as well as traffic and pedestrian safety.
Right, so we got this request from Chief Murphy at Lafayette, and he is requesting that the fire companies be permitted to participate in these events at Greenfield. The dates are June 12th, July 24th, and August 21st. So these events were not on the yearly list of activities under workers' comp, and so the board needs to approve these.
Yeah, I was gonna question that. Like, I thought, like there's a sort of general statement. I mean, there's so many different statements on that list, but this isn't included in any of the.
It doesn't really fall into any of the,
Fundraising for them.
Right.
It's not, right, okay.
it's not an event at their facility.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve, to authorize Lafayette and Whitman Fire Companies. Events at Greenfield, 3 separate events. As Tara noted the dates.
Motion by Mr. Rudd, second by Mr. Thornton. Is there any discussion, public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed or abstentions, motion passes. Move on to item 11. Manager's report.
So I know this should be mine tonight, but I'm going to ask Hutch to actually do this one because he's been involved in this for a long time, so.
We'll hear from our senior advisor.
So, the county inspector is updated every 2 years. And we have been fortunate enough to have a number of projects funded through the county's TIP. And those projects are continuing. But they are starting the process of working on the next update to the TIP, which should be for the 2027 through 2030 4-year time period. And the county planning department is reaching out to all the municipalities in the county to see if there are any other projects that they're not aware of yet that municipalities would like to have considered to be included on the tip. So we have the projects that you're very familiar with, the Western Gateway project, the Stratford to OU Trail project, and others that are funded through the tip and are ongoing. I also provided a list of other projects that we have submitted in the past, which will be reconsidered as part of this process, unless we tell them we don't want them to be considered anymore. And they're on a list that looks like this, and there was some green highlighting the ones that are in East End. So things like the intersection of Stratford, where we've talked about having northbound, left turn lanes in the past. The bridge over Mill Creek, Old Philadelphia Pike Bridge over Mill Creek, which is just east of the Gibbons Park property. And that doesn't have pedestrian facilities on it. So, we'd ask them, when they do that bridge, to include pedestrian facilities. All of the sort of recommendations that have been included over the years and the 23 analysis and reanalysis and reanalysis that's happened up there with concerns about congestion and traffic backups up on New Holland Pike. The intersection at Lincoln Highway East and Mill Stream Road is part of the streetscape plan to be a signalized intersection. The Greenfield Road underpass under the Amtrak facility, which is a essentially one lane pass at this point in time. Had it widened and it would have to be raised as well to get, trucks and other things under that. Would be an ambitious project, but it's been listed on this list in the past. There are a number of what they call bottleneck intersections. The one at 30 and Whitmer Road, and the other one at 30 and 340 been added on. Over the years, PennDOT comes up with these lists of intersections that need attention, and so we've sort of picked up on that list and submitted these in the past. So if the board feels that those are all still worthy of consideration, they will be considered in the way that the county goes about ranking projects and then considering them for funding. And if there are any other transportation projects that the board feels need to be or should be considered as part of this process, we have the opportunity through the end of June to submit them to the county so they can be considered. So there's no action that you need to take tonight, but just asking you to give that some thought. And if you want us to do any research on any of those transportation needs, we could try to do that before we would submit anything. So just wanted to share that process with the board.
Thank you. Is there a benefit to having fewer items on here, or are some of these that are, changing an Amtrak tunnel is an act of God almost. If it's one of hell might freeze over first, is it worth keeping on there? Or is it distracting and would you rather focus on a smaller number of items? Just curious.
I think the way they go about ranking projects, I don't think it matters how many we put on there. But with respect to that project in particular, I know that this is a long time ago when PennDOT was looking at the widening of the bypass, and that project happened in the late 90s. And as it was going through the design process, there was a thought that, well, we wouldn't have to do quite as much at some of the interchanges especially at the interchange at Old Philadelphia Pike, if trucks could get through this underpass, and they briefly looked at it and determined that they would have to raise the railroad tracks 1 mile in each direction in order to raise it high enough to get troops under there. So, and to widen that, obviously it's a substantial structure. And the other problem that had been happening there was, of course, flooding. And I'm not sure it's saying that flooding has disappeared there, but we have made improvements to that area with stormwater management improvements that have improved that condition. So we don't have quite as many events where that underpass is flooded and we have to close the road. So is it sort of a long shot, very long shot that, that project would happen in the next 12 years? Yes, it's a very, very long shot.
On that one, we could potentially, could we make it a emergency access and pedestrian only tunnel?
There's still a lot of traffic that goes through there.
I know, but it's there is so much that it could easily not choose to not go through there. I mean, I use it frequently. I really like it but sometimes you don't need a road and the cars will find a way.
Yeah, I think, reach out to the business folks on both sides of that underpass and find out how that would impact their businesses. But
Just an idea of if it's not going to get fixed, we could just.
I mean, fixes, cars go through slowly, one at a time. Trucks hit the bridge every 6 months or so. And it floods a lot, infrequently now. I'd say, once every couple months it floods, which is a lot better than every time it rained. So
I was going to ask how many times trucks or how many times that's happening.
yeah, we get trucks jammed under there fairly regular. I haven't asked the PD for a report on that recently, but I'm going to say a typical year there'd be 4 or 5 occasions when that would happen.
it's usually pretty minor, damage.
Box truck type situation, thinking we could make.
On top.
Yeah, the truck gets damaged. The underpass doesn't really get damaged.
It's like a tin can,
I mean, that Bronx Bridge there near the fire department is one I think that gets hit occasionally.
Yes, less frequently.
Less frequently.
That does, but
Yeah.
less frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a rental truck place in Greenfield right there, and I mean, they have signs and everything else, and those trucks still hit it, Signs.
Well,
in
kind
the
of
truck.
what you're saying too, absolutely no trucks, I mean, I didn't know, I thought that was probably the most dangerous thing. Because obviously if something really happened, that it got hurt, it got hit and damaged significantly, now you have a major problem, closure, and then you're right back to, okay, well, we'll just limit what this is used for, but.
More signs probably won't change any behavior.
Yeah.
Interesting thought. Never thought of just saying, just close the road and see what happens.
While we're, do you mind if I just ask this question? So, Manheim Township posted on Friday that the Big Seven, the Eden, is closing for 45 days in July.
We did get email notice that that one is, they're planning to do a maintenance project on that bridge, and they're also planning to do a maintenance project on the South Bronx Road Bridge over. Last week.
Yeah.
They just get the.
Didn't they just redo that bridge in the last 2 years?
It's been a little longer than that, but it hasn't been terribly long ago.
This is the bridge right near Pine Drive, goes over the Conestoga waterfront, used to be the restaurant.
Nice bridge when I was there at the opening.
Right, so how many, was that 5 years ago? Maybe COVID.
Seemed like it was that long ago.
I know, right? Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we immediately asked them to make sure that all emergency services were notified.
Yeah, good. Okay, cool.
Any other items for manager report? Okay. Any other public comment that we missed? Any non-agenda public comment? All right, I'll take a
Did
motion.
you to make an announcement of executive session?
We were in quasi judicial.
I don't think that's it.
I mean,
We met with the solicitor regarding the
yeah,
liquor license decision prior to this meeting. That's what we did. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Thornton. Discussion, public comment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those abstentions, those passes. Next meeting, Monday, June 2nd. Thank you all.